In a previous module, we had illustrated the use of R in fitting an ANCOVA model where there was one factor with only two levels. In this case, we are thinking of using a three-way or three-level factor in fitting into an ANCOVA model, and we will see how we can put R to use using an example. In our previous module, we have looked at the fitting of an ANCOVA two-way model using R. ANCOVA model, as we had introduced previously, is a blend between the ANOVA model and a regular regression model. So we have several factors or one factor which classifies the population into different groups, and we want to look at the effect of these different factors while we are also adjusting for the value of a covariate which is introduced into a model, and it's similar to the regression coefficients or the regression independent variables which are continuous in nature. So in case of a regular ANCOVA model, we can have two or three-way or multiple-way factors. In this case, in this module, we are going to look at a three-way model and how we can fit it using the software R. So predictors that are qualitative in nature, like for example eye color, are sometimes called categorical or factors. How can these predictors be incorporated into a regression analysis? So analysis of covariance refers to regression problem where there is a mixture of quantitative and qualitative predictors. Suppose we are interested in the effect of a medication on cholesterol level, we might have two different groups, one of which receives the medication and the other which does not. However, we could not treat this as a simple two-sample problem if we knew that the two groups differed with respect to age and this would affect the cholesterol level. So if it were only two different parts of the population that we were checking for the cholesterol level of, we can simply perform a two-sample test of hypotheses. But in this case, we think of a different covariate, which is age, which might have some effect on the cholesterol level itself, apart from the effect of the medication. So we try to adjust for the value of this covariate and eventually test for the effect of the treatment on the cholesterol level of the patient. We can also see that later on a number of other factors in the form of covariates can also be incorporated into the model, which are adjusted for before we want to look at the effect of the treatment itself. So analysis of covariance is a special form of the linear model. So our strategy is to incorporate the qualitative predictors within the linear model structure, which is y equals x beta plus epsilon, and it is the x which is the collection of the factors as well as the different continuous covariates. So we can then use the estimation, inferential and diagnostic techniques that we have learned already while discussing regression analysis. So this avoids having to learn a different set of formula for each new type of qualitative predictor configuration, which is the approach taken by many texts. To put qualitative predictors into the y equals x beta plus epsilon form, we need to code the qualitative predictors. So let's consider a specific example that we were talking about previously, where y is the change in cholesterol level, x is age, and d takes the value 0 if no medication is given to the patient and 1 if the patient is given some sort of medication. So a variety of linear models may be considered. This we had already discussed in the previous module. So we can use the same regression line for both. We can use separate regression line for each group but with the same slope, which means we are only using the x variable as the covariate and the dummy variable d or the medication variable d. And a third kind of regression model which can be fitted is the separate regression line for each group. So if we want to differentiate between the two regression lines based on the group, we need to add a third term, which is the interaction between the medication as well as the age. So we introduce into the model a third interaction term, which is of the following form: y equals beta 0 plus beta 1 x plus beta 2 d plus beta 3 x times d plus the error term. And in R, we've seen previously when we want to fit this regression model, we can use either one of the forms of y tilde x plus d plus x times d, or simply we can write y tilde x star d. In both the cases, the software understands the same model and it fits a regression model with x and d as the two main effects and their interaction as x times d. Now the estimation and the testing would work just as well in case we had a different kind of coding. So for any factor, if we code it as 0 and 1, we can also code it differently by taking d equals -1 if the person did not take medication and 1 if the person did take medication. Either way, the interpretation of the results after fitting the ANCOVA model will not be different. So this kind of coding is also used by some practitioners. Now this coding enables beta 2 and beta 3 to be viewed as differences from a response averaged over the two groups. Any other coding that assigned a different number to the two groups would also work, but in that case we have to be careful about how we interpret the final estimates of the coefficients from the fitting of the model. So here is an example with a qualitative predictor with more than one level. The data for this example comes from a 1966 paper by Cyril Burt entitled The Genetic Determination of Differences in Intelligence, a study of monozygotic twins reared apart. The data consists of IQ scores for identical twins, one of whom was raised by foster parents and the other by the natural parents. We also know the social class of natural parents, classified as high, middle, or low. We are interested in predicting the IQ of the twin with foster parents from the IQ of the twin with the natural parents and the social class of natural parents. So here we have the IQs as well as the social class of the natural parents, which acts as the factors. So let us first read the data and take a look at what the data set looks like. So the data twins, when read into R, can be printed, and what we see is 3 columns, one which is foster, the other biological, and the final one is social. So the first two variables are the two covariates, are the two IQs based on which twin was reared by the foster parents, and the second was the child who was reared by the biological parents. And finally, the last is the factor, which is the social class of the biological parents. Now first let us plot the variables and see what the scatter plot looks like. So we see in the figure that we have twin data. L represents low class, M represents middle class, and H represents high class, and that is what the scatter shows. And the regression line, which is best fitted between the biological IQ and the foster IQ, is also shown in the figure. So we see what model seems appropriate can be at least guessed from the plots that we have seen. So the most general model we'll consider is separate lines for the models. So let us fit the regression line G equals LM, which is the linear model fit for regression, foster tilde biological times social based on the dataset twins. This means, if you recall, this particular syntax tells R that they have to fit the foster child's IQ based on the biological parents' reared child's IQ and their social status, as well as the interaction between the social class of the biological parent and the IQ of the person reared by the biological parents. So now we look at the coefficients from the summary of the above fitted linear model. First of all, we need to look at the different interpretation of the interaction terms. So we had 3 different levels for the factors, unlike the previous example where there were only 2 levels. So here one level has been used as the benchmark. As we can see here, the high social class was taken as the benchmark, and we have the interaction term between social low, social middle with the biological, with the person who was reared by the biological parents' IQ. So looking at the p-value, we can see that Both these factors are insignificant in the model. Also, if we look at the p-value corresponding to the low and the middle social class of the biological parents, both of these factors, taking the high social class as benchmark, they are also insignificant. However, if we look at the the person who is reared by the biological parents, his IQ happens to be a significant influencer or a significant factor in the model for the IQ of a person who is reared by foster parents. If we look at the multiple R square, it's 0.804 or roughly 80%, which means that a lot of the variability in in the IQ of the person reared by foster care can be explained by the IQ of the person reared by the biological parents. So the reference level is high class in terms of the social class, being first taken alphabetically. That is the pattern in case of R. If you have several different factors, then the one which alphabetically comes first is taken as the benchmark level, and the others are measured based on this particular benchmark. So we see that the intercept for low class line would be 1.872 plus 9.0767. So as we had done in the previous case, we can fit the regression model, and then based on the coding for our factors, we can plug in the values of the factors accordingly. In case of 3 or more factors, we cannot use the 1 and 0 coding anymore, but we usually use codes which are separated by 1 units. For example, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So taking these type of numerical code helps us make the interpretation of the eventual results easier. So here we can see that the intercept for low class line would be 1.872 plus 9.0767, while the slope for the middle class line would be 0.9776 minus 0.005. So this can be left as an exercise for the students to try out by looking at the output from fitting the regression model. So we check the design matrix for the GORE details now. Let us look at model.matrix G, and then that will give us the model matrix or the design matrix for the fitted regression model. Now let us see if the model can be simplified to the parallel lines model, where we do not have any interaction term. So let us fit the linear model of foster tilde biological plus social. So looking at the ANOVA table, we can see that based on the F value, the F value happens to be very, very small. If you look at the residual sum of square and the sum of squares due to the model, we can also figure out why the F value is so small. So our question is whether we can use this model as a predictive model instead of the one that we had fitted previously with the interaction terms. So the answer is yes, we can. We can simplify the model and fit a simpler one. The sequential testing can be done in one go. So we can use the ANOVA of the fitted model G, which we had fitted previously, and we can see that a further reduction to a single line model is also possible. Because if we look at the summary of the model which we had fitted second, which is the model without the interaction term, but with biological as well as social as the two factors, as the factor and the covariate that we added into the model, we will see that only biological happens to be statistically significant. So we have an opportunity of further reducing the model to a single line model, where it's none other than a simple regression model with foster child's IQ being a simple regression of the IQ of the person who was reared by the biological parents. So we plot the regression line, and the check of the diagnostic shows that there is no cause for concern. So the final or the almost final model can be given by the summary, where we have the coefficient estimated for the biological or the covariate, the standard error for this estimate, the t value and the p value. So we can see that the p value is very, very small as compared to the level of significance 0.05. So biological is the only factor which is significant in estimating the IQ of a person, or in in terms of explaining the variability in the IQ of the person who was raised by the foster parents. Also looking at the multiple R square, which is almost 78%, and also looking at the p-value, we can see that the overall model is also significant, and the multiple R square tells us that it is quite high enough for us to consider the model to be a good one. And the icing on the cake would be a further simplification of this model to the line y equals q. Because we were considering data on twins, so a further simplification would be to simply assume that the IQ of one child reared by the foster parents is equals the IQ of the child reared by the biological parents. This particular model has no parameters, parameters at all, so it has the residual sum of square equals summation I yi minus xi whole square, and the degrees of freedom equals the sample size. So we compute the F test statistic value and the p value using R in the following way. We take sum GR, which is the regression model that we had fitted, the simplified ones, the residuals from that, and we take the square, and the sum of the twin for the foster care minus the twins belonging to the biological parents times square, and using these sum of square we can finally get the p-value as the ratio of 1557 minus 1493.5 divided by 2, where 2 is the degrees of freedom for the numerator of the F, and this is divided by 1493.5 over 25, where 25 is the denominator degrees of freedom. So the null, based on this particular F test statistic, if we compare it with the critical value from the F, or if we look at the p-value, which we have calculated using the 1 minus p of F, or 1 minus probability from the F distribution, the p-value happens to be larger than the level of significance 0.05, so we do not reject the null hypothesis. So Burt was interested in demonstrating the importance of heredity over environment in intelligence, and this data certainly points that way. So when we fit the regression model of y equals x, we can see that the null hypothesis of equality of no significance of x was not rejected, which means that there was no effect of the fact that that one of the twin was raised by the biological parents and the other was raised by the foster. So heredity had a lot to do with the IQ of a person. So this data certainly assures Burt that his interest in demonstrating the importance of heredity was proved by the results from fitting this model, although it would be helpful to know the social class of the foster parents as well. So in this module we have learned a variant of the ANCOVA model which we had seen previously with only two-way factor. In this case we have a three-way factor, and we are looking at how this factor can be coded, how it can be fed or read into R, and how we can manipulate the R code to fit the different types of linear model that we can fit, the different forms of linear model that we can fit using R, which can be used for an ANCOVA with a 3 level of a factor.